Innovators Program. Being an avid knowledge seeker, she has taken courses in basic clinical skills, Microsoft Excel, global health, research methodology, epidemiology, and biostatistics. She recently completed an online certified training in leadership and management in healthcare from the University of Washington. She is a healthcare policy and management enthusiast with over 5 years healthcare service experience spanning 3 sectors: government, private sector, and civil society. She's also the founder of Life Fund Health Foundation that seeks to help less privileged hospital-admitted persons raise funds for their medical bills. She's a Sustainable Development Goals advocate with a primary focus on SDG 3, which is good health and well-being. Pharmacist Miriam considers it her life's mission to help in improving the quality of life of everyone she comes across with, especially in her country, by working to ensure there is accessible and affordable healthcare for all. Dear colleagues, we have Pharmacist Miriam online, and she would be talking to us this afternoon. Thank you very much. Please, let's all have our mics muted. Hello, Pharmacist Miriam. Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello, good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon, Ma. We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you for having me on board. I'm glad to be here. Thank you to the PSN-YPG group, that's the Pharmacist Society of Nigeria Young Professionals group. I'm very grateful and I feel privileged and honored to be here this afternoon. Like I was introduced, my name is Balogun Miriam Monisola, and I graduated from the University of Lagos in the year 2014. I've worked in the clinical pharmacy practice for some years now. I've also worked in the hospital. I've worked in retail pharmacy aspects, but I think the only thing I've not done is work in industrial pharmacy. But I think as I go along in my presentation today, we'll be talking more about that and how I found myself where I am today and where I intend to be as related to the Sustainable Development Goals. So you're welcome, everybody. You can ask your questions, leave your questions in the comment section. I'll try to answer as I go along. And as much as possible, I want the session to be relatable. I want you to be able to, learn from my own story and see how you can apply it to your own life or how you can apply to your own career life. Let me put it that way. So right now I'm just trying to share my screen. I prepared a mini presentation slide just so that I can have my thoughts together. Can everyone hear me? Are we good? Can everyone hear? Hello? Please just make it interactive. Let me know in the chat section if you can hear me. Okay, thank you. Olayemi, thank you. Okay, so I'm trying to share my screen right now. Let me just give me a minute, please. I want to share my screen with you all. I'm sorry, I think I'm having an issue with my iCloud drive. I can't seem to share my screen. So I'll just go right ahead, and probably when I figure it out or I'm able to solve it, I'll share the screen. So let me just start. So you're welcome to today's session, where we'll be discussing the Sustainable Development Goals, how young pharmacists can be a part of it. I'm grateful and happy about this session because I think, hello, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so the reason why I'm really happy about this session, in fact, that I don't think I had anything like this while I was in school. I think there was YPG, but I don't think I actively participated in it. So to be a part of this is really a honor, and I'm glad I'm able to share because having left school for some time now, I realized that there's so many things that I could have done while I was in school that I didn't do. There's so many things I could have done while I was in school, while I was preparing to graduate, or immediately I left school as a recent graduate that I could have done, but I did not do. So I'm really happy about this session, and I hope that you're able to grab something from this session that helps you in your career as a pharmacist going forward. And then I want you to be open-minded about this session today because I'll be sharing from my own experience. You don't have to take everything I've said, but you don't have to take it 100%. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but then I'm sharing from my own experience. I'm sharing from my own knowledge of so far, so good. And I hope you can at least be open-minded and be able to take something from it that can help you in your own journey. So I think the first thing I've said so far is to be open-minded, be very flexible in your career journey. We've not even started the main topic, but I think I'm already giving you some bullet points here right now. So I think being open-minded is number one. I know that as a pharmacist, we've all, okay, I think I would like to ask this question first and foremost. So I'd like to know, for us, what year or level are we presently in right now? For most of us that are here right now, are you in 400 level? Are you in 500 level? Or are you a recent graduate? Please let me know in the comment section so I'll know how to direct what I'm saying perfectly. Recent graduate, okay, thank you. 300 level, thank you. Fits. Who else? Recent graduate, okay, thank you. Recent graduate, okay. By recent graduate, I'm sure you'll be probably doing your NYC, or even the NYC will be internship. So yes, I can see a core member. Yes, that's good. Awaiting internship. Okay, that's good. Great. Graduate 2016, yet to be determined, 1200 level. Okay, thank you very much. I love the response so far. Okay, so let's move on from here. I really wish I could share my screen, but anyway, let me not delay the whole class with that. I've been introduced. My first slide here is talking about me, but beyond the old profile that was read and all, truthfully, all those profile things tend to make someone feel like, hey, Jesus, what have I done in my life? And, I can relate to whatever you're thinking right now. Oh, this person has done this, that person has done this. Hey, this person has this person has this. What am I not doing? So yeah, thankfully, this session will be able to say, okay, see, it's about intentionality, about, okay, being intentional about where you want to see yourself in the next few years in relationship to the sustainable development goals. Be able to say, okay, what is the sustainable development goals, and how does it relate to me as a pharmacist? And how can I build a career, a fulfilling career? I think at the end of the day, building a fulfilling career is what we all want to do. A life that we can, okay, look back and be thankful for the journey, for the choices that we made. I think that should be the main focal point for every one of us. Talking about me, I started out my career right from school. I knew that, okay, I think in school, University of Lagos, you either from your internship, we had about 6 months of SciWest, I think in 400 or 500, no, I think 300 or 400 level. During SciWest, I did retail pharmacy. I was in retail pharmacy. And then from retail pharmacy, I realized that, okay, if at all I wanted to own my own pharmacy, I don't want to run it myself. I just probably will hire some other people to run it for them, because I felt that was limiting for me. I'm talking from my own experience here, so this has nothing to do with speaking against retail pharmacy. I'm building up to somewhere here, so please just follow me. Anyway, so it was then I discovered that, okay, as much as retail pharmacy seems interesting, I don't think this is what I want to do as my main career focal point or so. Okay, so with SciWest, I already stamped that out of the way. And I think another thing that I realized from school was that I didn't want to be in the industrial pharmacy line, because I felt that most pharmacists in the industrial pharmacy area were just being used as marketing professionals to meet budget, to market drugs. And I don't think that's the main use of pharmacists in that regard. So I knew that, okay, retail pharmacy was out of it, industrial pharmacy was out of it. So I needed hospital pharmacy experience to be able to determine if that is what I'm going to eventually do. Please, if I would like the comment section to be as relatable as possible. If you're relating to what I'm saying, just let me know in the. Okay, yeah, I'll share my slide. I'll probably send it to the president, who can share it later on with the participants. So yeah, that's fine. Anyway, by the time I left school and was to do my internship, I did my internship with the Lagos State University Hospital, and that's the same place where I work right now as a hospital pharmacist. But working as an intern at LASUT, I was able to, okay, hospital pharmacy is not bad, but I still don't see myself in the next 10 years. Because when I look at the people, my guys, those bosses that are right ahead of me, I look at them, I'm like, okay, is this where I see myself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years of my life? And then I'm like, okay, so what exactly do I want to do with myself? For hospital pharmacy, that was also out of it. I knew that, okay, I didn't want to go back to hospital pharmacy after my internship. Then the next day was NYC. I served in Ilorin, that was Kwara State. And I was also placed in the hospital to work. During my internship, I also got the opportunity to work as a retail pharmacy, just so that I would, because there wasn't really anything much that we were doing in the hospital there. So I was just augmenting with retail pharmacy. At least I was building experience and relating with patients. So during my NYC, I was able to secure a job almost immediately after NYC with an NGO by recommendation. It was during my work at this particular NGO, I think I started to discover myself more and, be able to say, okay, I think this is what I want for myself. And I think, okay, this is what I would do with my career path as a pharmacist. So at this particular NGO in Ibadan, I was working as a chief pharmacist. Apart from working as a pharmacist there, I was also, involved in other project work that had to do with the work the NGO does. So the NGO was serving the population, rural population in Oyo State. So apart from working as a pharmacist, I was also, doing some other project work that was not primarily pharmacy work. So for me, I was excited about that. I was happy to be doing that. So I said, okay, seems like this is good. So I said all of this to establish a point that on this path, there is, you need to discover yourself, what you want for yourself. You need to, determine what it is exactly, not because your pharmacy friends are doing it, not because they said there is money in one aspect of pharmacy or there is money in another aspect of pharmacy. You have to be able to determine for yourself what you want. Okay, now, so moving on to the Sustainable Development Goals. What are the Sustainable Development Goals and how does it relate to you as a pharmacist? Okay, so the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the Global Goals, for short, I'll be using the acronym SDGs, so I don't have to say Sustainable Development Goals all the time. The SDGs were adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030, all people enjoy peace and prosperity. So why was the SDG necessary? About 193 countries came together and said, okay, we have there are human rights. People have the right to live. People have the right to vote and be voted for. People have the right to live, be comfortable. You don't just leave people to die. We are all in this world together, whether we are Nigerians or we are Americans or we are this or we are that. And so the SDGs was established to ensure that everyone, no matter your country, you are not living, in poverty, and then our planet is protected, and then everyone lives in peace. There is no war, there is no this, there's no that, and then there's prosperity. When there is no poverty, people are encouraged to work. People are diligent with their work, and we can protect our planet. Of course, when there is no poverty, when we don't have any of these catastrophic things that happen on our planet, like the fire outbreaks and all of that, and the natural disasters, because we are protecting our planet, we'll live in peace, we'll live in prosperity. So these Sustainable Development Goals were established to ensure that everyone, anywhere you are in the world, you are comfortable enough to live a life that is fulfilling, so that you can die a happy person and you can live to the number of years that God has laid out for you. The 17 SDG goals. So we have 17 SDG goals. I'm sure you know some of these things already, but I just want to reiterate so that I can drive home my point. These 17 SDG goals, they're all integrated. So this is not just about goal 3, which is the good health and well-being, because we are pharmacists. I think most of us try to, focus most on the SDG goal 3, good health and well-being. But we have to know that the 17 SDG goals are actually integrated. There is no how you work in goal 3, the good health and well-being, and your work or whatever you're doing there is not one way or the other translating into 1 or 2 of the other SDG goals. So we have to understand that these SDG goals are integrated. That is why you should have an idea of what these other SDG goals are. I don't want to focus on just goal 3, which is the good health and well-being. I know we tend to focus more on that because we are we are healthcare professionals, but I think that everyone should have a fair idea of what the other goals entail. So the other goals, they recognize that action in one area will affect outcomes in other areas. So whether you're working to end poverty or you're working to, good health and well-being, there's no how you'll be working on good health and well-being and your work will not translate into ending poverty, which is one of the goals. So that's what I'm just trying to establish, that these goals are all integrated. We cannot just focus on one and turn blind eye to the other ones. We should recognize that action in one area will affect action in other areas. And development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. So I've established what is sustainable development goals are. I've also established being able to discover yourself, which I will talk more about as we go on. So how does discovering yourself relates with the sustainable goals as a healthcare professional? Now, let's move on. So in summary, I'll just quickly mention all of the sustainable goals. We have number 1 as no poverty. We have, I think we should all mention it together. So can you please help me in the comment section? What's the number 1 goal? What's the number 2? What's the number 3? What's number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? So let's know if we know our sustainable development goals. If they come today and say, what is the sustainable development goal? Or maybe you have a cousin at home, or you have a little cousin at home that comes to you, auntie, oh, you just graduated from university, and they taught us about the sustainable development goals today. Can you please share or tell me what the sustainable development goals are? Yes, so to already apologized. I'm unable to share my screen, so I'll probably share my slides later with you. I hope you don't mind, but as much as possible, just follow me. I'll break it down and explain myself. I'll send my slides to the yes, I'll send my slides and then we can move on from there. Okay, so yes, I'm getting response to number 1. Goal 1 is zero poverty. Yes. What's goal 2? What's goal 2? What's goal 3? I have gifts too. Okay, goal 4, quality education. Thank you, Olubukola. See, almost everybody knows goal 3. Goal 2, zero hunger. Thank you. Goal 3, good health and well-being. Goal 5, gender equality. Goal 6. Goal 4 is quality education. Goal 6 is what? Goal 7 is what? Goal 6 is clean water and sanitation. So you know what I was saying about the goals being integrated. So there's no how you can say, oh, you're working on good health and well-being, and your work is not related to other development areas. You can decide that, okay, as a pharmacist, I want my work to be focused on ending NCDs. What are NCDs? The non-communicable diseases. They're on the rampart these days. You can decide that, okay, I want to, focus my work on this area and ensure that people living with NCDs, okay, maybe you decide, okay, let me even break down the NCDs, that's the non-communicable diseases. Let me break it down to, okay, let's pick diabetes or hypertension. I want to ensure that people living with hypertension and diabetes, especially women, have access, to quality medicines, quality, that is one way of relating the good health and well-being in goal 3 to gender equality in goal. I'm not saying that men should be left out, but these days, anything that has to do with, I don't know if you follow the news, but anything that has to do with women and children, is going to fly anywhere you are. Am I lying? No. So anyway, let's continue. We have goal 6 as clean water and sanitation. Goal 7, we have affordable and clean energy. Goal 8, we have decent work and economic growth. Goal 9, we have industry, innovation, and infrastructure. As a pharmacist, you could be working in the industrial pharmacy area, and then you realize that there is something that is missing in this area. There's something that is missing in the industrial pharmacy practice. And then you start to do something in that area of work. That is you relating good health and well-being with industrial pharmacy practice. And then that means you are aligning the good health and well-being in goal 3 with goal 9, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And there is no how you would work in good health and well-being. You will not be working on reducing inequality, which is the goal 10. Also, there's no how you work in good health and well-being that you will not be improving sustainable cities and communities. So all I'm just saying is that the goals are integrated. We should not just focus on good health and well-being. We should take a deep look at what we are doing. It's not just, I think pharmacy should go beyond just dispensing drugs and, telling the patient, take 1 in the morning, take 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the night. I'll come to that later. There is a place for pharmaceutical care where you care more about the patient that you are working with. You're working with other professionals to ensure that your patient is at the peak of your health. So when you're focused on ensuring that your patient is at the peak of their health, you're not concerned about whether, it's go beyond just telling the patient take this drug in the morning. You're thinking about other things that has to do with the patient. Okay, what's stopping this patient from taking his drug? What's stopping this patient from buying drugs? How come I prescribe this drug or told this patient take this drug and this patient is not taking this drug? So I think that was how I found myself in healthcare financing. I call myself the healthcare financing advocate today. So for me, my career has progressed from just being a pharmacist to being a healthcare financing advocate. I think I'll give you the backstory of that as we move on. So let me just finish this by saying the other development goals. Are we following? Yes, thank you very much. 11 is sustainable cities and communities. 12 is responsible consumption and production. 13 is climate action. 14, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And number 17 is partnership for the goals. Thank you. So yes, let's move on to the next part. So now we have talked about the sustainable development goals, and we've listed them, and then we've established the fact that the SDG goals are all integrated. We cannot just be focused alone on good health and well-being. Choosing your career path, you might be thinking, okay, but I think my skills, the things I like, they are turning towards this area, and this area is not particularly good health and well-being. My sister, my brother, see, as long as you're focused on a sustainable development goal, we should all be as professionals. We should not limit ourselves, because this is where the whole world is focused on right now. The whole world, think about the best countries in the world, they're all focused on ensuring the sustainable development goals. Think about any project, if you hear of anybody receiving any financing right now, any funding right now, when you ask them, oh, what did you do to make them give you that? All the world is talking about right now is sustainable development goals. So don't limit yourself to saying, oh, but these skills that I think I have right now, or this thing that I think I'm tending towards, I mentioned earlier about discovering yourself, which I'll talk further about later. Taking a personal look at yourself and your aspirations and your skills, and then you're able to pinpoint this thing about yourself, even if it's not 100%, good health and well-being. Look for how it relates to other aspects of the goals. As long as at the end of the day we all have a fulfilling career, I think that's the most important thing. We should be open-minded. I know I said that at the beginning, that we should be open-minded and very flexible with our career goals and career plans as pharmacists. Pharmacy right now is going beyond waking up and dispensing drugs. That is what you should be telling yourself. It's going beyond. Okay, now, for instance, let's talk about the coronavirus pandemic. Do you know how pharmaceutical companies are cashing out right now from the introduction of the vaccine to cure cancer. What if you as a pharmacist was working in that line, discovering cancer, I said cancer, yes, even cancer vaccines can be discovered. What if you're working in that area? So let's not just be focused on, okay, we have to, dispense drugs to my patients. Let me just retail. No, we have to think beyond the now. We have to think globally. I'll talk about that very soon. So moving on, the SDGs carry on the momentum generated by the MDGs. The MDGs are Millennium Development Goals. So before there was the Sustainable Development Goals, there was the Millennium Development Goals. So the SDGs carry on the momentum generated. So many people were able to plug into the MDGs, even though we're not able to achieve as much with the MDGs, but we're able to, build on what we had with the MDGs to arrive at the SDGs. So that means we have taken a look at the MDGs and we have seen that, okay, this is what we're able to achieve with the MDGs, and we can do more with the SDGs. But unlike the SDGs, which relied exclusively on funding from governments and non-profit organizations, the SDGs also rely on private business sector. So even private companies now, that is why you see many companies coming out with CSR initiative, corporate social responsibility initiative, because the world is focused on SDGs. Even MTN, even think about the most privatized company you can think about. They're all focused on, seeing how their companies can be involved in CSR actions, because at the end of the day, the people is what matters. Your patient is what matters at the end of the day. Ensuring that the person beside you lives a good life, even as you are living a good life, and making your money is what is most important. So why are the SDGs important in relation to my career as a pharmacist? I've tried to establish this, but let me just go further into it. The SDGs can serve as a career guidance framework. So we've listed how the SDG goals are integrated. We've listed how we've mentioned the SDG goals. So now, how will the SDG goals help me, how will they help me fine-tune my career choice? I know we have chosen to be pharmacists, but what I'm trying to say about career choices is the fact that our choice or our career path can be more defined. You can decide to, to even go deeper in your career as a pharmacist. It should not just end at your BSc degree as a pharmacist, is what I'm trying to establish. You can do more, is what I'm trying to say. So how does it relate to my career path as a pharmacist? The SDG can help you, it can help you serve as a guide for your career path. Okay, now that you have graduated, most of you are 500 level students, most of you are recent graduates in doing your internship or doing your core practice right now. Most of you are core members. So what you should have at the back of your mind now, okay, since the whole world is focused on these SDGs, how can I plug into the SDGs is what I'm trying to say here. How can I plug into the SDGs as a pharmacist? So now, number one, we should know that there is a temporary reach with the SDGs. Let's note that, okay, what year are we right now? We're in 2021. The SDGs is meant to end by 2030. So that means and truthfully, we are far from achieving the goals we have for the SDG by 2030. We are very, very far from it. Take Nigeria as an example. We are very far from it. So now you ask yourself, in setting my career goal as a pharmacist, how can I ensure that by 2030, when the SDGs will be, I'm sure it will be evaluated or will have something more improved, or would, my point is, we need to, set our career goal. Okay, now this is 2021. What can I do from now to 2030 to ensure that I am in line with the SDGs, so that as the world is moving, I am moving with the world. The SDGs extend to 2030, so they will be relevant and they will increase in importance for the next few years till we have something else. This means that your skills and your knowledge, you should develop it now to ensure that by 2030, you are better positioned. Even before then, you were already doing something to help achieve the SDGs. So now that is how the SDG will help you, fine tune your career path, whether you decide to go into hospital pharmacy practice or you decide to go into retail pharmacy practice. The truth is that we can do retail pharmacy practice in a whole different level. Your pharmacy practice in the community can be so such that, for instance, if you're an Abule Egba community, Abule Egba is an area in Lagos State. For those who are outside Lagos State, you can decide that, okay, if I'm going to run this pharmacy in this place, if you're given the free hand to do as you can within the retail pharmacy practice, you can decide that, okay, I want the people in this community to know that the pharmacy is there for them. Your pharmacist is their best friend. You want the people to know that, okay, when they come to the pharmacy, they can be treated, be patient focused. And when you are doing this, you are contributing to the SDG goals too. So another thing you should note about the SDG goals that can help you in defining your career as a pharmacist is interconnectedness. The SDG goals are all interconnected. We've established it, and we've said it before that the SDG goals are integrated. So if you now take a look at yourself and say, okay, I think this pharmacy thing is not exactly what I want, or now that I'm working, because the truth is that the experience in school is going to be different from your experience working as a pharmacist. You begin to discover things. If they told you that, okay, these are the things you have to do as a pharmacist to ensure that your patient gets the needed care and all of that. Or, for instance, if you want to report pharmacovigilance now, you want to report an adverse drug reaction as a pharmacist, and then you're working in a hospital pharmacy, and you realize that this hospital pharmacy that I'm working in, they're not taking this thing seriously. They're not taking adverse drug reaction reporting seriously. That is a problem that you have identified within your hospital pharmacy practice. You can take that up and say, okay, now that I've discovered this problem, how can I solve this problem as a pharmacist? You can now say, okay, this is what I want to do. So now that is a place of self-discovery. The things that pains you most on the job, that you find a problem, because everything you're doing should be focused on solving a problem, solving an issue. Let me gist you about how I started calling myself a healthcare financing advocate. So in 2016, when I started working at Lawsuits, hello, are we there? In 2016, when I started working in Lawsuits, I used to go on ward rounds with other medical professionals like the doctors and physiotherapists to know. And then I realized that, okay, today the doctor will come, write a prescription for a patient to get this drug, or get this drug for this particular patient. And then you realize that the next day or the second day or the third day, the doctor comes back or the team comes back to the ward and then realize that, oh, financial constraints, patient has not gotten the medication. In this scenario, like, we've had so many cases where, okay, the doctor is now taking money out of his own pocket to pay, okay, what can we do for this patient? Oh, I think we should donate money for this particular patient. And the truth is that if you are working in the hospital, you will see, especially government hospitals, you will see so many cases like this every day. If you are doing your internship or you're serving already, let me know if you've ever experienced that before. Working in a government hospital, you say that, okay, most of your patients cannot even afford to buy their drugs, or okay, they will tell you, oh, give me just one sachet of the 3 sachets I'm meant to get for the whole month, and then they get that one sachet. Drug that they're meant to take for a whole month, they end up taking it for just 10 days, which is maybe a sachet, or 14 days for some other sachets. So it's like their health is not improving. Why? Because of healthcare financing issues. Okay, yeah, thank you, Alayemi. I noticed that during my IT. Yeah, so during my internship year or my internship year, yeah, I discovered this, that okay, doctors will write prescriptions for patients who were admitted in the hospitals, and then they cannot afford to buy it. Or there are some other patients entirely that they don't even have any family members around. Probably all those people that had an accident on the way, and then they bring them to the hospital. The hospital is treating them, but truth is that the government does not provide all of their medications for free. So then the doctors and other healthcare professionals will have to start looking around for drugs. What can we help these patients with? They'll come to the pharmacy. Pharmacy, do you have free drug for this patient? This patient is destitute. Do you have drug for this pharmacy? Now, then I discovered that, okay, I think there's an healthcare financing issue that we have in Nigeria. Now, let's now also talk about the fact that we don't have healthcare insurance in Nigeria, or whatever healthcare insurance we have is not even enough. Let me put it that way. It's not covering anything. Right now, Lagos State has started its own healthcare insurance, but it has not even enrolled half of Lagos population. Other states are trying to bring up their own healthcare insurance policies. Even the National Health Insurance Scheme, most people have worked in the NHIS section of the pharmacy before. The patients will come, okay, believing that they are NHIS patients, they should get their drugs free. They come, and sometimes it's just paracetamol we are able to give them out of their list of drugs. And then they are wondering, but this is LHIS, But if we go to other developed countries, yes, that's true. NHIS always have OSK, out of stock cases. And that's the reality. I'm just trying to let you know, because some of you are still in school, or some of you are just recent graduates, and you don't know most of these things. I'm just letting you know that pharmacy practice is not as as the way they taught us anymore, because you expect that some things should be on ground. Probably if some things were on ground, probably if there was money, exactly, NHIS barely covers 10% of the population, that's true. So probably if there was NHIS on ground, people are getting their drugs, probably it would be sweet. Let me use that word. It would be interesting to practice as a pharmacist. But the truth is that we have so many other problems that would not allow your experience as a pharmacist to thrive. You would not probably feel fulfilled, because there are so many other issues tied to your practice as a pharmacist in Lagos, in Nigeria as a whole. So that is why the SDGs are important for you to know about, so that you can identify a problem. So that was how I identified healthcare financing as a problem. And I started focusing, my career towards that area as a healthcare financing advocate. So I'm not just working as a pharmacist dispensing drugs and all of that. Today, I'm also working as, I run an NGO. And this is not saying that you have to run an NGO. No, that's not my point. You don't have to run an NGO to make an impact. That's not the point I'm trying to establish. What I'm just trying to say is that you need to be able to identify the problems around you that are in line with the SDG goals, and then be able to, tailor your own experiences, tailor your skills. And if you have interest in that area, pick it up and, pursue that area. Probably some of you will want to go for your master's degree. Most of you don't even know master's in what you want to do right yet. But it's from working, it's from experience that you will know that, okay, it's from relating with people, working in the community, to be able to say, okay, well, I think this is my area of interest. That will guide you into choosing your master's rights. So let's move on quickly. Another area is that the SDGs are multidisciplinary. The SDGs cover environmental issues, they cover social issues and economic issues. I already mentioned this earlier, talking about the fact that, okay, you can discover that, okay, in your own pharmacy practice, you discover there is environmental issue that you want to solve. How, okay, maybe exhaust fumes from cars are affecting people living with asthma. You can take that up as your own personal project. You can take that up as your own personal, career path. All I'm saying is that as a pharmacist, you need to be open, you need to be flexible. That is why doctors in Nigeria tend to be more recognized than pharmacists today. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, create a bias or something, but I'm just giving you from my own experience. Another thing you should know about the SDGs is that the SDGs is the fact that there's a huge geographic reach. So the SDGs goes beyond just Nigeria. It's a global effort, it's a global action. So you have to know that, okay, whatever I'm doing, I have to choose something that it's in line with the SDGs, so that whether I'm in Nigeria or I'm in Kafancha, I am relevant all over the world, so that my work can be recognized, whether it's in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. Why do you think some people get globally recognized? Because their works are in line with the SDGs. Am I saying something? Am I communicating? So whatever you're doing has to be in line with the SDGs to ensure that your work is global, so that you can position yourself globally. Another thing you should know about the SDGs is the fact that they are multi-sectoral. You cannot limit yourself to one sector alone. It's just what I've been saying, that if you decide that it's a civil society you want to join, or whether you want to work, even if you want to own your own business as a retail pharmacy, or you decide that it's not even pharmacy you want to practice at all. See, don't let anybody limit you. As long as you are living a fulfilling life at the end of the day, that's the truth. I think that is what education is for us. Education should be an eye opener, more than okay, stereotyping yourself and limiting yourself. We should think of possibilities abound everywhere. Now there's technological advancement. Let's not go into that yet. I think I'm jumping. Anyway, so the SDGs are multi-sectoral. They are relevant in civil society, they are relevant in the government. That is why you even say that, oh, the governor or the president has special advisor on the SDGs to tell you how important the SDGs are. So we have people in business too. Even when you see all of this call for application for entrepreneurs and all of that, they'll tell you, oh, your business has to be, solving a need in the society. Anyone experienced that or seen anything like that before? Yes, because everything now has to be solving a problem in the society. That is the whole essence of SDGs, to solve problems in our communities such that we all live in peace and prosperity. So even if you're an entrepreneur, even if you decide that, okay, retail pharmacy you want to do, how are you going to build your business model as a retail pharmacist to ensure that you are solving a problem in the community that goes beyond just dispensing morning, afternoon, and night? Hello, are we there? Are we good? Am I making sense? Please let me know if I'm making any sense. And if you have any questions, please leave in the comment section. I'll take the questions at the end. Another thing you should know is that the SDGs, anything that has to do with SDGs right now, there's huge funding for it, huge funding. So if you decide that, okay, it's research you want to go into, there's funding for research and work related to the SDGs, like that's why you see the likes of Bill Gates, they are sponsoring, they are sponsoring third world countries, they are sponsoring so many things right now. Big organizations, there is actually money when it comes to the SDGs. Companies are willing to release their money, organizations are willing to release their money, governments are ready to release money when it comes to the SDG goals. Now that we know that, okay, I have to position myself right in line with the SDG goal as a pharmacist, how do I really discover myself? How do I really position myself as a pharmacist? I've said this before. Now it's time to reiterate. So it's all about self-discovery. So I think I need to establish the fact that we all have different parts to play. We all have different journeys in life. That you are graduating with your mates today, all as pharmacists, does not mean that in the next 10, 15, 20 years, you all will be in the same line doing the same thing. And why is that so? I think there's a Yoruba adage that says that I'm sorry, let me not mother Yoruba. But the point is that you cannot all end up doing the same thing at the end of the day, because you will discover yourself. So how do you position yourself as a pharmacist to ensure that at the end of the day you have a fulfilling career? I think the primary goal should be living a fulfilling life. You may be a nurse, you may be a pharmacist, you may be a banker, you may be a driver. What should be at the back of everybody's mind should be how you can live a fulfilled life. I think that's most important. But now that we are all pharmacists, how do we position ourselves as pharmacists? We need to discover ourselves. So I think I started this session talking about my journey, how I didn't want to do community pharmacy practice, how I didn't want to do industrial pharmacy practice, how I went to hospital and I thought, hospital may not be it, and then I found myself working in, I'm sorry about the noise in the background, how I started working in the civil society sector. So that's the way it is. You need to take stock, be intentional about your journey. Now that you are in your final years in school or you just recently graduated, be very conscious about your experience, Okay, today. I'm sorry. So you need to discover yourself. Self-discovery is the process of learning more about yourself. So now that you're coming into the real world to work as a pharmacist, you need to discover yourself. Take note of your experiences. You have to know who you are and what you stand for. What are you standing for? Who are you as a person? You need to discover yourself. You need to look in. Now that I'm a pharmacist and the world is a global village, the SDG is what is in action right now. How can I position myself? You need to start asking yourself those questions. And know, the more you understand yourself and your motivations, the more informed and productive your career search process will be. You realize that you're more productive. You're able to discover things around you. You're able to notice the little problems you see within your society and be able to, okay, this problem I'm noticing, this issue of healthcare financing being a problem. Oh, I've noticed this. How can I solve it? Or what can I do in my own way to solve this? Then you start thinking, just learn to discover yourself as a pharmacist. Start by reflecting on your interests, on your values, on your skills, on your personality traits. If you're someone that, you think you like marketing and or you like research, don't limit yourself and say, it has to be dispensing of drugs alone. No, that's not. I think our training as professionals should come first. I think the reason why we are trained as professionals is such that we can be multidisciplinary. I think that is the whole essence of being professional. We are not just pharmacy. That is why pharmacy is different from other careers. That is why it's a profession. Profession is like a discipline. It's like a discipline. It makes you, it makes you are flexible. You are able to, work with other people. That's why you're able to work with the doctors. You're able because you are vast in experience and vast in knowledge, and you're able to, pick up things as you go along the way. So your focus at the end of the day should be that, you are giving pharmaceutical care, or the fact that, you are ensuring that the patient or your client or your customer is living a healthy life, is living at the potential that the person is meant to be. Your goal should be about people. It's about the people and the planet now. It's about people and planet now. So whatever you discover about yourself, take it back. How does this relate to the people? How does this relate to the planet? So the self-discovery, I think that's the number one. That's the only thing I think that I can share with you right now that will help you position yourself as a professional, as a pharmacist, and in relation to the SDG goals, self-discovery, discover yourself. So now that you've discovered yourself, how do you go forward from here? I've mentioned some of these things before, but I'll just talk about them again. How do you position yourself right now that you've discovered yourself? You've identified something that you like to do. You would want to, work on this. You want to work on that. How do you position yourself right? How do you start building that career progressively? Now, identify problems in your areas or in your locality and provide solutions. how did I start my NGO? I started my NGO. I mentioned earlier about how I discovered that patients could not pay for their medical bills. One day I just decided, okay, there was this particular girl who was to have dialysis session, and she could not. Her parents had paid for one session, and all her parents are petty traders. They had paid for one session already. They could not afford to pay for the other sessions, and she needed urgent dialysis. I just took up the phone, made a video with her dad. We talked about, okay, the issue. And I posted it on social media. And that was how we were able to raise funds for the girls' dialysis session. And from there, other people saw it. They said, okay, sending money. I was using my own personal account before, but I felt I needed to separate it from my personal account. And then I decided to get the NGO registered. From there, now I'm working with big organizations, to identify people in hospitals who cannot afford to pay their medical bills, and we are paying their medical bills. For that, at the end of the day, I find joy in doing that. I feel like in that way, I'm aligned with the SDGs. In that way, I'm still working as a pharmacist. I'm still helping them, okay, you need to buy this drug. You don't have money to buy this drug. Okay, but it's more than just drugs alone we are paying for. So I'm just saying that as a pharmacist, I am still working as a pharmacist. But at the same time, I'm aligning myself with the SDG goals and, building a career. That is why, okay, that is one of the ways in which you can build your career. You can, now, when you ask me, I'm interested in economics. When you ask me, I'm interested in healthcare financing and policy. How can healthcare policies be established? How can we build better healthcare policies? How can we ensure that healthcare insurance scheme is working perfectly? How can we ensure that, from there, you are able to identifying a problem and providing solution, you're able to, build a career that you are happy with. Also volunteer and build a strong career profile with intentionality. I've mentioned that before. Volunteer. Right now you're in school, get on board. Maybe you see a call for volunteers. Volunteer, because it's in doing all these things that you realize, okay, I think I'm happy. I was happy when I went for that volunteer thing today, and I was happy with the smile of the smiles on the people's faces. Oh, I worked in this community today. I was happy when that man gave me feedback about the drug I dispensed to her. Volunteer your time, volunteer your talent, volunteer your energy, and you start from there. You start discovering yourself. You start knowing what you like and what you don't like, and you're able to build a strong career profile. You start being intentional about your career. Also, get mentored. You may have access to people, you may not have access to people, but the truth is that we can get mentored in so many ways. You can read books of people that you're interested in. That way, you're getting mentored by them. And if you have the opportunity to get real life mentors, please do. You can have career mentor, you can have mentors for different areas of your life. So get mentor, because people have gone right ahead of you. They will tell you, oh, do it this way, do it that way. Oh, I don't think that would work. Or they will give you, real life experiences of what works and what doesn't work. Another thing is build your leadership capacity. In volunteering, you are building your leadership capacity. Apart from volunteering, there are also other ways of building your leadership capacity. You can decide to, avail yourself to writing, having a blog post, for instance, blogging about healthcare related issues is a way of solving SDG goal, because you are creating awareness. I hope you know that. Also, under the good health and well-being, we have mini goals. So it's not just about the good health and well-being. Look at other goals under the good health and well-being. It's broken down. That good health and well-being is broken down into smaller goals. For instance, under good health and well-being, we have healthcare financing and policy making as one of those mini goals under good health and well-being. So position yourself, build leadership capacity, position yourself through global opportunities which are available through scholarship, fellowships, and internships. Get mentored through fellowships also. There are so many opportunities out there. Take advantage. I wish what I know now I started doing them while I was in school. I wasn't exposed as I am right now, like that when I was in school. I probably would have done better with my career. I would have probably done more with my career, I'll probably be far ahead, but it's never too late. But anyway, now that you are still recently graduated, or you're still in school, position yourself for global opportunities. There are some schools that have opportunities. I don't know, opportunities come to them and all of that. Look for those opportunities. Don't neglect opportunity, because you don't know which one you end up using. I remember during NYC, when I was thinking of, okay, what other thing can I do to improve myself while on this NYC program, so that my NYC year is not wasted. I remember signing up for PMP, project management training. So I got the 35 hours of training as a project management person. I wasn't even sure what I was going to do with the project management thing right then and there, but I just did it, okay, just so that I wasn't wasting my time doing NYC. And now I'm about to write my PMP certification exam by September, because now the world is, changing every day. The world is changing every day due to the pandemic. So there are so many things that are changing. There are so many skills now that people are looking out for now. So I decided to improve myself now, but okay, let me go back to that project management I did during NYC then, and let me write the certification examination so that I can rightly position myself for better career advancements. So position yourself for global opportunities, choose fellowship. When they were reading my profile, they mentioned, okay, how I'm a young African leader under the Yali fellowship and all of that. Position yourself through the Yali fellowship. I've gotten so many other opportunities. You get to meet people and network with them. So don't limit yourself to just Nigeria. There's a whole lot out there. And then as you go along, evaluate yourself. Always go back to the drawing board. Maybe right now, at the end of today's session, write out your career plan for the next 5 years, 10 years of your life. Then at the end of each year, go back and evaluate yourself. What have I done so far to bring myself to this place that I want to get to? Okay, now that I know this about myself, and after working this year, I know that, okay, this area is not what I want. This is another area that I want now. How can I fine tune? So always evaluate yourself, evaluate your career prospect and all. Also take advantage of technological advancement. There is social media. We're in the social media age right now. Take advantage of that. You can search for opportunities online. You can position yourself to work remotely now from anywhere you are in the world. And lastly, build a brand for yourself. This is how you're going to position yourself. How did I get invited for this program? I don't even know who. Okay, I think I know who recommended me. But this is, I've never even met people on the committee on the YPG committee before. I just got the invite. And that's because I practically positioned myself. I'm able to build a brand for myself and, tell my story, share my story. And I think that's how this opportunity came to be. I'm talking to you right now. So build a brand for yourself. When you have discovered yourself, it's okay, this is the area that I want to focus on in my career as a pharmacist. Start to, publish posts about that. Whatever you're doing and you're posting online should be in regards to that. You should be in relationship to that. I know a pharmacist that graduated now she's on social media selling ebook to people on how to lose weight in 5 days. Yes, as a pharmacist, you cannot limit yourself. You, at the end of the day, as long as you're fulfilled and living a fulfilling career is what should matter most to you. So I think that is all I have for you today, and I hope you've enjoyed this session. Let me know if there are questions in the comment section, and I'll be happy and glad to answer. Thank you. Oh, 5 minutes more. I didn't see that. Okay. Okay, let me know. Questions. Yes.
Thank you very much, Ma, for the presentation. It has been really, really insightful. And I know I've been receiving comments that, people really enjoyed all what you have been dishing out to us this afternoon. Thank you very much. So if there are any questions for Pharmacist Miriam, please do kindly put it in the chat box, and she would answer them. So let's quickly do that in about 2 minutes. If you have any questions for Pharmacist Miriam, so she can, deal with that immediately. Okay, it seems as though everyone seemed to have assimilated all that has been thought, or probably they are still digesting it, as so much has been given today. And it seems there's no question.
Okay.
So I think this brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you very much, Pharmacist Miriam. Okay, so
You're
there's
welcome.
someone who has finally posted a question. That's Pharmacist.
Okay.
Yeah, he's asking that as a pharmacist interested in academia, how do I align with the SDG goals?
You've already aligned yourself. You're interested in academia, so you can say, okay, your work, whatever you're doing, probably you want to work as a lecturer, or you want to work in research research area of academia. So it's about, you just need to define what exactly it is you are doing in academia. If it's lecturing, okay, you can decide, okay, I want to lecture to ensure that young people, it's only a matter of telling your story right. It's only a matter of, it's how you tell your story. Like, okay, I discovered that students do not have enough intellectual capacity or something. Just say something, solution that you are bringing into it, and then you're already doing the SDGs already. Just discover, okay, what's the problem that you're bringing? What's the problem that you're bringing a solution to in the academia? Once you can define the problem and you're providing a solution to it, you're already aligned to the SDG goals. At the end of the day, you are ensuring peace and prosperity to people. That is all that matters. So once you can say, okay, academia, what's that problem that I've noticed in academia? What's the solution I'm bringing to this area of academia? You're already positioned in SDGs. You can relate your SDGs work to quality education. I think you're already in line. Just once you can discover yourself, then you've already related it to academia. Pinpoint that area of academia that you're interested in and say, okay, this area of academia, I've noticed this problem. I've noticed this research area, and I want to, provide my own insights, my own research insight into this area of academia. You're already good to go. I think you're good to go. Okay, I think there's another question in the comment section. How do we maintain a continuous passion to push an idea? Besides having an accountability person, what more can be done? So you can have a continuous passion to push your idea by surrounding people that you surround yourself with. That is one of the reasons why you have to, position yourself through attending fellowships. By attending fellowships and internship opportunities and all those, accelerator programs, you are building a community of people. By the time you see other people, pushing their goal, you'll be motivated to, keep pushing. So you want to do more as a person too. And then, so number one thing is having a network of people around you. So you can get that network of people by joining associations, attending conferences, joining fellowship. All the fellowship, they always have, a group whereby they stay connected to each other at the end of the day. So you can your passion can be continuously fueled when you have like people around you who are also pushing their own agenda. You see them, doing great things. You are motivated to do great things. Also, apart from having accountability person, you can stay motivated to your passion by reading books. Reading books will open up your passion, but without actually solving a problem. I don't understand the question. Your passion has to be fueling something. You cannot have passion without, okay, what's your opinion? You say you have a passion for teaching and all of that. What problem have you identified and what problem are you solving? So always tie it to identifying a problem in your society, in your community, and providing solution for it. Another person asked, what organizations can I volunteer with to align myself more with SDG? Multinational organizations, so civil society organizations. Civil society organizations are NGOs. We have so many NGOs around you. So many NGOs around you. You have, even if you decide that, okay, it's academia, you can decide to volunteer with a school, maybe a school for the blind, school for, apart from the normal school setting, you can decide, okay, no, it's children with special needs. You can decide to go to an NGO and decide that, okay, I want to teach them art and crafts. Maybe you are skilled in art and crafts. So there's so many things you can do. Don't limit yourself to one thing. You can be a pharmacist and something else. Your pharmacy qualification qualifies you to be more than just a dispenser of drugs and medications. At the end of the day, what matters is that you are able to bring peace and prosperity to other people, which is the whole aim of the SDG goals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Miriam, thank you so much for your time and all the nuggets you've dished out to us today. I want to believe that everyone here who has had the opportunity and privilege to listen to you is actually going home with something today. And I know that they would actually apply that which they have, taken up today. Since there are no more questions, I think this officially brings us to the end of today's webinar. This webinar continues tomorrow with another session and another facilitator. I do hope that we'll make it a date tomorrow by 4 p.m. to actually come and learn once again. So thank you everyone also for your time. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Ma. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Ma.